Okay, I will call this meeting of Sunday County Commissioners to order for Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018. Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Thomas, please.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, please bless us as we contemplate the county's business today. Please take care of our fellow public servant, Bernie Holman, as he starts the next journey of his existence in the afterlife. We appreciate all the work that he did for our community throughout time, and we hope that he has a blessed eternity. We know he will. In your name we pray.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Stacy? Here.
Okay, accept the motion to approve the digital audio video recording of our previous board session held March 27th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes. All right, any adjustments to the agenda, folks? I have Judge Shuff here to make a presentation, a financial presentation, I believe.
Financial presentation.
Yes. So would you like to,
I have good news, better news, and a little bit of bad news. So I always start with the good news first.
start with the better news.
No, you start with the good news, and then you get better.
And then
Set the hook.
the hammer.
You set the hook and start reeling. No, Indigent Council, we just received the report for the first quarter of 2018. And over 2017, it was $23,000 less than 2017. So you're going, okay, well, what's the 3-year history? I know Mr. Kirschner would ask that. So over the 3-year history, it's $22,000 less. It's $23,000 less than 2017, $16,000 less than 2016, and $28,000 less than 2015. So on average, it's down. I think all the judges, it's not just one judge, it's all judges that are doing the best they can regarding those expenses, and I just wanted to bring that. That's the good news. The better news is that Judge Kelbley and I, and we'd like to think it's because of efficiencies, careful spending, and careful management of funds, that we are returning money from 2017. The total amount is just shy of $86,000. Judge Kelbley is returning $54,415.19, and here is his letter. And Judge Shuff is returning $31,548.01 for just shy of $86,000, and there's my letter. So that's the better news, $86,000. Now the bad news of that $86,000, we respectfully asked to receive $31,550 for our new recording system. We left the recording system in the building we were in for Judge Meyer. So it is in 4 courtrooms in the 117 East Market, the old 117 East Market. And we left it there for him, and he knows about it, and he's going to update it, but it can be used. So we were required to obtain 4 more systems, 1 for each magistrate's courtroom, and 1 for each courtroom, because we do not use court reporters except for jury trials to save expenses. So we use a recording system. So we obtained new recording system. That cost was $25,552 for all 4 systems, total cost. And a copier, we wanted to obtain a new copier, and that's $5,998 for a total of $31,550. So we returned $86,000, asked for $31 back. It's still a good deal. That's the bad news. It's a good deal. So we wanted to ask for some money back to acquire these equipment and for the new building and return from 2017 funds we did not use. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Judge Kelly could not make it here, so he gave me his
Just two
letter.
clarifications. It's just common one, and common pleas 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Not municipal,
No,
the recording equipment, right?
no,
Yeah, okay.
no, no. There was
And-
4 systems, one for each of our magistrates, and one for each of our courtrooms. No.
And we didn't have this covered in the AV package?
We did
It
not.
was never spec'd in? Okay.
And it's a good price. It really is, because now we left 4 systems for Judge Meyer. And they're not, they need a little updating, but it won't be very expensive, so. So, that's the presentation. Be glad to answer any questions, but it does not include municipal court. That's a whole separate
Okay.
entity. This is just Judge Kelby and I on the BIS and on the copier.
The other thing I would mention is that the indigent council issue, that's been a topic at CCAO, that, they're, asking whether we should continue it at the county level or if it should be a state function. And my argument, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we do a nice job managing it ourselves, and we have very, very capable attorneys that are taking these projects on, and we do just a better job, or the judges have done a better job than other counties, so there's no upside to us for giving it back to the state.
There is not.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy goes up.
Well, other than they're making us.
Larger government
Yeah, that's
bits,
the thing,
the
too.
more bureaucracy there is. You
Yeah.
take it to the state level, I don't think they'll be as efficient as at a local level.
And prior to the county picking up more, paying more of it, did we have the local control of the decisions, or is it just the funding that we started taking over, or did they dump some of the responsibilities back? I guess that was before my time.
Right, no, it's been pretty much the same system, and how much they reimburse us is fluctuated.
Right.
How much the state reimburses, right now it's 45%.
Right.
So when there's a bill for $1,000, we're paying 55% of it, and the state reimburses us 45%.
So I'm not so sure if
So when you put aside what you're putting aside for indigent counsel, and I don't know what it is,
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
let's say it's 400,000.
Yeah.
For all the courts, and that includes municipal, juvenile, both common pleas. Really, we're not spending 400,000, if we should even get there, and last year we didn't even get there. We were at just shy of 300. We get 45% of that back, so you aren't spending 300, but you are spending 150 to whatever it may be.
Yeah, we'd certainly like to get the state's portion up on it. and I
That's
think it's their
that would be the
responsibility.
key, is to get
Right.
the state portion up, but
But we don't wanna give
control
up our
should be,
control. Yeah.
should be local.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's been our control, it just a matter of who's paying for it. They mandate it, and
Yeah, yeah, the system's pretty much been the same. Now, years ago, and it was, we eliminated the county public defender's office, the county commissioners. And most of the judges were in favor of that.
right.
It's easier to work with a group of lawyers than an county office sometimes. So it's worked out well, and you see the figures. You can see them historically, and then if you go back to '03 or '04, you'll see a big difference.
And people are getting their constitutional rights met.
Absolutely.
Right.
Due process is being met. These are excellent, excellent trial attorneys. They're taking these cases for the amount that you have fixed. I think you changed it a few years ago, raised it a little bit, and they're taking on these cases, and there are caps for each type of case, and it's working well. So perhaps the state portion ought to be raised up.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
It's supposed to be 50% at one time, but
Yeah.
they keep lowering it because of budget constraints from the state level. I don't see where state taking over makes any sense at all.
Like I said, I'm not so sure they'll take over managing any of it. They're putting it together, looking at if we should give up, if they would take over indigent defense completely and Board of Elections in lieu of the, what the trade was, but it was.
Local government funds.
Yeah, the local government funds, yeah. They take those over.
I can't
Where
speak to
money
the Board of
goes,
Elections
control
issues.
follows.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to look at there.
Yeah.
And actually, we're a lose county on that deal.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Can we look at that and then take a resolution next week, or do you need to move quicker than that? What's the,
No, next week will be fine. You know,
So
I'll get
proce-
the account numbers.
that is 30 on them. We've already bought them.
okay.
We had to have them in to go to function.
The good news, the better news, the bad news, and the just so you know news.
Now we,
I'll RV the rest of this.
now we could take the letter back and then, you know.
I will make a motion that we authorize them.
I don't have the account numbers
Okay.
yet. I'd rather wait until I got
All right.
where
Yeah.
she wants the money exactly.
It can wait till
Rather
next
till next
week.
week.
It can wait till next week. They're net 30.
So procedurally, you take the money back into the general fund.
Yeah, that gets
And then
recertified.
there's a resolution or transfer of funds from the general fund to the judges for specific.
I assume they want it in their general fund account, probably your shared account. Is that where you're gonna? want the
I'll
money?
let you know.
Okay.
We have got that far.
We'll
So
just
we'll
reappropriate it.
handle procedurally then next Tuesday.
Okay, that's fine. We got net 30.
Good thing you didn't mail that check yet.
What's that?
Good thing you didn't mail that check yet.
I don't have any checks. That's the auditor's office. Any questions? Thank you very much for your
Thank you, Your
time.
Honor.
Thank you
Thank
very
Your
much.
Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the airport here, FAA and the ODOT grant.
Yeah, we had our Stan Tech fella in and 2 grant possibilities. So I thought we should talk about them in session. One is reapplying for a ODOT paving grant that would have us in at a 5% match on that, so reapplying for that. And authorizing him to move forward with redoing that grant. He said he'd maybe have an hour in getting that ready. So that's grant 1 that would create 2 paving. And then, of course, our annual FAA grant. We've got some projects in there, and we've authorized him to move forward. And I guess we're negotiating on some property pending some appraisals, so.
Yeah,
Those conversations.
we have not approved us applying for those 2 grants.
No, he was
FAA
gonna
is in
get it,
process.
yeah, the one grant, he was gonna update the application and
yeah.
then bring it. to
That's
us.
the one he said would take an hour or so to do, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that
Yeah,
was
I mean,
the-
I think the informational meeting was exactly that the other day, and I thought he was gonna formally come back with something, but I think they're both programs we'd want to, be supportive of. I mean, 5% match on that ODOT funding and the rating that the airport does receive for having the taxiways and the runway itself in really good shape is happening because of those types of dollars that we've been getting and using wisely. And then the FAA grant as well, as if we get into the property stuff, that does cover that, so,
Yeah, that's a 10%.
yeah, it's, like I say, that's a 90/10, right?
90/10.
Yep. Okay.
Of appraised value, so.
So
One
one-
of the things I think we should consider, though, is we should probably consider trying to get this into some kind of normal budgeting cycle. Maybe we could do a 5-year look back of what we've invested, even our 10%, 5%, our ceiling, our drainage, so that we have some kind of sense on a year-to-year basis what we should be budgeting for this. Because it seems to be that we're in this reactionary phase, and we have the engineering firm now, and that's been on for 3 years or
Years,
so.
yeah.
So
New
we're
firm.
getting ahead of it.
Okay, we've had an engineering firm for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah.
This is the new firm.
It's just a
This
new
is a
firm.
firm.
The
Yeah, 'cause
problem
I
with
get
trying to
through
budget
every
for
5.
that, Commissioner, is that it's dependent on some of the grants that we received from FAA, and that's a hit and miss kind of a situation. I mean, it seems to be a pattern of every other year. So I think that we are budgeting for the normal operations with Brad's help, pretty close. The only surprises would be that we would have to add in the event that we've got to do the matches. And we don't know if we're going to do the matches because we don't know whether or not the grants will be approved. Now, 5-year look back is probably not a bad idea, and taking some type of average and a contingency for those matches, but I thought that we were pretty close. I think we had one request last year from Brad in addition to
He did the
Couple drainage projects.
tile, yeah,
Yeah.
drainage tile, and there was,
But I mean, that was unexpected. I mean,
Yeah.
we found out they were clogged and had to do something.
yeah, it got
Oh.
crushed.
But, you know, it's not a bad idea to do a 5-year look back. But I think that budgeting process at the airport is pretty fine tuned.
Yeah, I think, you know, we start asking for, you know, projected information, we can you know, we have a good strategic plan developing with Stantec, we should be able to get pretty tight on what our capital budgets should be over the next 5 years.
Yeah, and we always ask Brad for anything above and beyond what the master plan covers. It's just whether the grants come in and what appraised value is, what the construction costs will be, so,
But we have these conversations every year
yeah.
regarding
Could get the,
extras at the airport.
I mean, the look back data might
Yeah, yeah.
take
that
a
would
look
be
at it and
fine
see
on
how,
average.
yeah.
Do we get any takeoffs and landing information, or end numbers, or number of aircrafts? Do we get any of that data?
No.
So, you know, maybe we can look for some of that data so we can kind of trend line that too, know how we're doing.
Okay, Justice Center,
And I
yes.
do have two things I want to add.
Yes,
that
go ahead.
I forgot to tell you, because I wasn't thinking. Fake news and Wolf Creek.
Did you say fake news?
Fake news and Wolf Creek. And Wolf Creek is not fake news, that's two separate subjects. So if you want me to cover those, or do you want me to go to the Justice?
Let's go to Justice Center. Take a deep breath and try to separate them. Yeah.
Justice Center, let's see what's happening. We had a meeting last week in courtroom, Common Pleas 1. We just.
Way upstairs.
Yeah, and had a very, I didn't see the RT, sorry, Ron. Very nice headline in the AT about the under budget.
Yeah.
About less than 65,000, you know, kind of coming back. I think we have spent probably more than that on extras, right? So anyway, but under the CMR contract is where that leftover money was. Stacy's looking at me like I'm crazy because
I wasn't there.
She wasn't able to be at the meeting, but they did tell us that as they shake things out.
About
And that was,
65,000 of the contingency that was in the contract is going to
coming
be
back.
returned to us.
Yeah.
A combination of both their contingency and our contingency.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, you're right.
so,
Good job, all.
yeah, like I said, there's still been other expenses and so forth, but so that was there. Solidified the May 17th, I think we already had done that anyway, for the official ribbon cutting and time capsule sealing ceremony. Late afternoon, shooting for about 3 o'clock, and then we also are proposing meeting that day for our final meeting. I don't know if we said what time we set on that, because my notes
Just
are.
about an hour
my notes are
before,
in
at
the
least we
other-
talked about 1 o'clock.
1
or
o'clock, I
something,
think, yeah. And it won't be a very long meeting, but just kind of the final
Some
wrap
of,
up.
the reason is some of the folks are coming in for that day, rather
Yes.
than try to do.
And we don't want to have them to travel another day and or having to stay and all that stuff, so we're trying to,
Yeah, we're also doing a commissioners meeting that day, regular time at 10 o'clock?
Regular time.
regular time, yes.
Here,
Okay, so we're gonna have a 10, 1, and 3.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
correct. And the rest of the details we're still working out for the ribbon cutting and so forth, more to come on that one, but anyway, just so we've.
And do you know what floor? Did you guys decide what floor the Justice Center for the meeting?
We haven't, depending on which court's open that day.
Yeah, depending on what's open.
It will be in the courthouse, but, or it'll
Okay.
be at the Justice Center, but,
Yeah, we can set one.
Okay.
So I think that's it in the Justice Center.
okay,
unless
well, let's go with
there's
Wolf
anything
Creek first.
else. Okay.
I can't wait for the last one.
Okay, Wolf Creek, I just, we were all presented with a packet last week, and I looked through some of it, and I didn't know if we wanted to ask Mark. There's a lot of questions in there that we're gonna have to work with the engineer on that Mr. Sugar is asking us. So I didn't know if we wanna have Mark come here, or we wanna designate, one of us is gonna make sure we sit down and go over that stuff with Mark, so we can respond to him, or if one of you have done that. I don't know where it's at, because, like I said,
I think it's a good idea to have one person designated to review it with Mark, and then ask Mark or Mr. Sugar to come in and speak with them at some point. So, would you like to do that?
I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay.
I think his request, though, was to have a meeting, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, he wants a meeting of all of the landowners, but I think we gotta sort through,
there were,
You know,
I mean, you're right, that was one of the requests, but there were other requests
Yeah.
contained within to try to get some questions answered, and most time the question is why.
yeah. So I will set up to get with Mark on it, and then see if we can go through that checklist, and then we can report back to you all, and we'll take it from there. I just wanna make sure we do that, because he was asking that with that packet of stuff,
Okay, perfect.
so.
Does this have anything to do with April 1st, fake news?
Well, I guess it might, but you know, right as the alarm went off after the first time I slapped the snooze this morning, one of the third story in was about the Seneca County Commissioners giving the Carnegie Library to the Sisters of St. Francis, and I went, wow, I didn't know anything about that, so I'm quite curious on where the news comes from. And then I heard it again, second
missed
time
the
when I
meeting.
was awake and driving, so I thought I might text to Stacy,
missed a
did
lot.
I miss a meeting or sleep through one? Because I'm not remembering this at all. So I'm understanding that there might have
So
been
they-
an April
so they-
Fool's fake news out there somewhere.
So when they ask if there's any truth to this, we can say none?
But anyway, I just, you know, I don't, like I said, obviously one news source, not the two wonderful news sources in front of us, picked up on that from something in print and is running it today, and I'm going to call him when this meeting's over and say, stop. So I just wanted to verify that. I'm not crazy that I didn't miss anything, and that, I don't know if you guys have heard that or not, but that's what they
Was there an article-
reported on WFRO.
Was there an April Fool's article on Seneca Daily about this?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's
It's
pretty
being
much.
picked up by the radios.
Okay.
Yes.
All
That's
righty
news.
then.
As news, yes.
Well, that's what you get for listening to a Fremont station and stuff like Seneca County
You
station.
know, I get very little, my old clock radio, it tunes in very well.
Holly, for the record, I'm not gonna be swimming in the Sandusky River.
Are you in there swimming in the river?
Oh, 60 miles to Ridgeway.
Awesome.
So that was an April Fool's.
Where can we donate?
Well, Dave, checks can be. David Sachs, DHA. And in the memo line, you can put donation.
Yeah, okay.
You won't get a letter, but you can put donation.
Yeah.
Synonymous with gift. And the branding, which we believe will be launching on or around April 16th. We think that potentially this month, that's what's being targeted. It does not look exactly like, this was another story.
Oh.
That it looks exactly like what was before, so it was very good.
Dispelling all the Russian hackers.
Yeah, there we go.
Since you brought up the April Fool's edition, I
Yes,
thought I
yes.
would.
Good to know that
Put it
that's
out
out
there
there as
for
We're
the-
getting
well.
a
Both of
Target
those important.
and
Costco or
Costco,
something. Yeah,
yeah.
I think I saw that somewhere.
I had phone calls all Sunday morning about what's going on in Tiffin, we're getting a Costco.
Stop being so gullible, people. Just stop being so gullible.
Okey dokey.
It always gets people.
Yes. Yeah.
But when it's still running 2 days later, then
What I just said, huh? Yeah.
Then the responsible
Okay.
then-
Okay, that's
Do you
it.
have anything else to add to the
That's-
agenda now?
that's- no,
Okay,
I'm done.
That's the fun
Annie,
portion of the meeting over with. All right, strategic planning, we've had a tentative date set for April 11th, did we not?
Yeah, we had something come on the calendar.
We had something come on the calendar, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to get, requesting a
Ryan, keep
Columbus thing.
Okay,
that
so what would
representative's
you like to
doing.
do? What's your pleasure, folks?
We're gonna have
You
to
want-
move it to a different,
Who are we envisioning will be all included in this session?
I assume it was the same group that we
had
had
at
in
the
the
last
past.
meeting.
Okay, the reason I ask is should we not come up with a couple of dates, survey that group to make certain that it works for them?
That's probably a good idea.
So, I assume after April 11th, so how about,
Is it,
either
this is a
the-
morning thing only, probably?
yeah, probably.
The 18th or the 25th, are those open?
The 18th and 25th, well, the 18th is the date that we've got to talk about for 4-H banquet, but
That's
an
that's evening.
Yeah, so
I'm
the
not
18th
good with
or the 19th, 18th
You're
and
not.
19th doesn't work, either one?
No.
Nope, 19th doesn't work for me either.
All right, how about the 26th or 27th?
The 7th is a Friday.
Is that bad? Okay,
Just saying.
Evidently, administrative professionals day's the 25th, let's do it then, make it work. 25th or 26th, how does that work?
25th, we have an evening meeting, is that right?
We do have an evening meeting, yep.
Yeah, Thompson Township, yeah.
What about the afternoon of the 25th?
Afternoon of the 25th.
Well, you have
which
a
is
board
Wednesday.
meeting. You have
No, no,
meetings.
I'll be back.
No, you have David's meeting on the 25th, right, David? I don't know what the calendar says. It says SIDEC board meeting.
That's correct.
I think our
Well-
strategic plan didn't start
I
somewhere.
mean, it's 8 to 9.
Okay.
Strategic, it's 8 o'clock though, right?
Yeah, 8 to 9.
And usually an hour and a half's plenty. So 9:30,
25th's fine for me.
25th,
And Eddie,
9:30.
whatever.
And do you want us to
And then
check
the
for?
alternate date to the 26th at 9? Yay, nay? Okay. All right, so find out when we get the most attendance, and then we'll set the date.
What was the other one? I'm
20, the dates, Dave?
sorry. Yeah, the second one.
25th, 25th or 26th?
Okay, same time, right?
Yep. 9 on the
9:30 on the
26th.
25th and 9 on
9:30.
the 26th.
25th and 26th, right?
Yeah.
9:30, and then what was the 26th?
9.
Okay, fun topic, Memorial Day Parade. It happens to be on Memorial Day, which is the 28th, I believe.
Yep.
We've got to, if we want to participate as the three of us, we need to let them know soon. You got the application for that?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
I'm good.
Line up at 9
Line
o'clock?
up at 9, moves out at 10.
All right. We'll have to decide on the candy at some point,
Sure.
and the driver. Okay. So we're all in that. Ohio State 4-H dinner is on the 18th at
Mommy Bay State Park.
Maumee Bay State Park, thank you.
I called the gentleman because I had a voicemail message from him.
Oh, okay, I did too.
And RSVP'd, yes, so I plan to attend. And
That is the, we should attend that, you believe?
I don't know that, I think they're reaching out because it's this part of the state. I think it moves around.
Okay.
Because I don't know that I've, remember being invited to it in the past. But it's at 6 o'clock up there,
Is
so.
one representative enough? Commissioner Thomas, what's your pleasure?
I'm not going, but I'm not available that day, but.
All right, well, let me consider it.
Okay.
For sure, we have one, okay. Okay, Medicaid revenues. We had Budget Commission this morning and talked about the fact that designated for 19, or designated for 18, and maybe there's some conversation about that, but designated for 18, we have coming in about $750,000, which is about $180,000 a month, or a quarter, excuse me. And we had talked about accruing for that on a quarterly basis. We are through the first quarter. It looks like revenues are about where we projected them, even without the Medicaid revenues, although the Medicaid revenues would take us over the top a bit. So we're at 24.2%. I think income-wise, Medicaid would take us to 25.5. In either case, we're very close to where we need to be. So, I mean, and then it ties right into these two topics, into the reserve fund that we talked about. We said we would revisit that after the first quarter numbers came in. First quarter numbers are in. So I will open it for discussion. Both should we accrue for the Medicaid revenues, and how, if at all, would we accrue for or designate optional reserve fund?
I like the idea of creating a reserve fund. I think that is just a smart planning strategically for us to do, to be prepared for things, as we've tried to over the years. Different projects we know are inevitable, they're gonna happen, whatever they are. I think that's a good idea. Now, whether it's the, I like the fact that we waited the first quarter, we're through it, let's look at now, let's get this set up. Which way, if that Medicaid money is the money that we take and move over to there, or that part of it, whatever makes the most sense, but we definitely, I think, need to set it up, and I want it to look like this is not a It's not reactive.
It's not
We're
because
planning
of-
on this.
yeah,
We're, this is,
yeah.
this is something we're gonna budget for that, you know, is intentional.
You know, this is, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess my thought is that we would leave the Medicaid money sit as a transition fund, and that we would go ahead and start budgeting the 5% for the budget stabilization fund. And, you know, let's try and do that for a while, and then we'd be able to hit our 5% this year. You know, it'd be about 210 for the first quarter, and then $70,000 a month going forward into the budget stabilization fund, and then we would still have that Medicaid money in case there were any other blips that would be less restrictive. That's my thought. I
Okay,
mean,
well-
that's the most conservative, I think, approach, but.
What we talked about is, I mean, just to make sure that everybody knows the history and how we got to the point that we are. Last November and December, what we talked about in trying to come up with a budget figure was the revenues that were expected. In addition to that, the Medicaid accrual for 2018. So that got us to a certified number of 17.9, 17.5. The assumption was that the Medicaid money would be a part of that 17.5. We had been significantly under forecasted in the past 4 or 5 years. We blew past the budget, I don't know, we were 16.2 or something last year, and we made 18, so we were significantly under budget. Which is not a bad thing, but it is, it's an accuracy thing. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that the Budget Commission assumed the accrual of this Medicaid money as part of this year's budgeting process. Now, if we as a group decide not to accrue it, and that would there not be a large adjustment that had to be made someplace along the way if we didn't do that?
Just remain
Explain
in the
that.
fund.
Yeah, because
So-
I,
It remains in the fund.
Yeah, it remains in the
It doesn't hit the
fund,
general
but
fund.
it's still, we have to take it to income at some point, do we not?
because our projections, what we thought we'd hit in sales tax was higher than what Budget Commission felt comfortable with sales
Yes.
tax. And I remember they come to us and said, hey, that if your projections are wrong, are you willing to use the Medicaid money to compensate? And we said, absolutely, because that's what that money was for. But if we are on target for revenue without transferring the Medicaid tax, there.
We only have budgeted 17 million or 16.8,
Right.
so we don't really even need the 17.5 revenue number.
Well,
Which-
I mean, right, but when the commission does projected income, we want to try to be as accurate with that as possible. We had the discussion, the opposite discussion during the hearings, that we have been significantly under in the past. We just don't want to miss that number by a lot if we can avoid missing that
Because
number.
we're sitting at what, 23% right now, and then projected supposed to be 25%.
Actually,
On the
like
sales tax?
24 Oh, on the sales tax. On overall though, we're 24 and change,
Right.
percentage wise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're right.
On
I mean,
sales
we're right
tax,
there.
we're at 23.8%.
Okay, well, this is,
Yeah.
you know, what I want the motion to be, or what I'd like to have us do is make certain that it's clear that we are taking a reserve fund out of current income, so that on an ongoing basis, hopefully, future commissioners will follow that lead and do the opposite of what most government entities do. Rather than spending our grandchildren's money, we're putting it in a savings account for them. So, you know, I think maybe 5% is probably too aggressive, Commissioner. If we're talking about a $20 million budget on average over the next few years. But 2.5% is probably, I'm happy to put more in.
Yeah.
Don't misunderstand, but I think that we have to come up with a number that's reasonable into the future. Commissioner, what's your sense
Yeah,
about that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I agree. I think we want to do it as this is a
Ongoing thing.
ongoing thing,
sustainable,
and we
yeah.
can't control what anybody's gonna do in the future, but setting up a trend for that and getting in that mindset is a very positive and conservative way to prepare for the future. Like you said, this is the tax, everybody's money, it's not ours. but-
Yeah.
Statute
Okay, so-
allows for 5%, that's why I said.
Okay, that's the
That's,
max.
I just made
and
it-
it expires, it's not accumulative, so.
What I'd like to do is set a number that we could exceed
Okay,
on a regular, I mean, anytime we wish to exceed it, we could. But to try to set a minimum number as a standard, we can't commit future commissioners, but we certainly can suggest to them where we think it ought to be. So, why don't we come up with some language for next week? I think we agreed in principle that we're gonna put some reserve
Yep.
money
Oh,
away.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that we agreed that some percentage should be established. We don't know exactly from where the money will be withdrawn, if you will. But we can come up with a solution to that. So let's talk about this over the next week
Okay.
with each of us, if you will, and then we'll come up with a resolution for next week's meeting specific to a reserve fund.
Okay. So do you have a percentage in mind?
if you wanna do 2.5%, that's like $35,000 a month. I'm fine with that, and if we can exceed it at the end of the year, maybe
You
we.
say, 5% on a large basis, 5% of a $20 million budget is $1 million. I'm not sure we can, reasonably
Sustain
commit
that.
folks, but I think we can reasonably commit them to $500,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause we've been moving that out of,
yeah, okay,
And I'll be the first one to say, if we have excess, let's put more in.
okay.
But for now, I think we need to do something that's reasonable and attainable.
The $500,000's a really nice goal.
That's a
Very
significant
reasonable.
amount of money.
Yeah.
And we all know that there's gonna be a downturn. We don't know when, but we all know there will be. So this will be nice to make sure people are working 5 days a week instead of 4, the
So-
next time one of these things happens.
so this number will be included in my budgets for next year.
We
So
would
our budget will go from our 16 to $500,000 more.
It's in the
Well-
denominator.
Yes, to make sure it's there and
Yeah.
not just carry over, make
Well,
sure
let's
it's in
see
there.
how, let's see how Budget Commission reacts to that too, because
Okay.
they're the ones that have to approve it. So, we can do what we want as a body here, but we
Sure.
can figure that out. Okay.
Sure.
So
Okay.
we don't need to take any action on the Medicaid money at this point.
Okay.
And we don't need to take any action on the reserve fund until such time as we agree as to where it's gonna come from and what we ought to be doing.
Is it a monthly transfer make sense, or, I don't know how much, from a logistical paperwork standpoint, I was just thinking $35,000 a month.
We do most things quarterly, I think, of any significant size we have in the past, but
Yeah.
I don't think
That'd
it's,
just be, one resolution compared to,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure they'll allow me to set up an automatic.
I gotcha.
We tried that with our
I mean,
special
it'll be,
project or.
100,000
capital
round
project
figures a quarter,
Yeah.
so,
Do we want to do first quarter?
yes.
Yeah.
I would like to do first quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm the only one without grandkids, but,
Yeah.
I would like, for your grandkids to have a stable budget too.
So you want me to prepare that for next week?
Yes,
please.
For-
So 125 a quarter, is that what we want to say in the resolution for now?
I'm okay with that.
Gets us there.
At this point,
Okay.
yeah.
Gets us there.
Okay. Anything else for the old business? Our new business, appropriation adjustments, general fund, what do you got?
Okay, I have resolutions underneath this stuff. I have an appropriation adjustment in the general fund, moving $200 from contract services to other expense. This is a request of the auditor's office.
This may be the fewest number of transfers we've had ever.
Well,
We have
and that one could have been done through the system by me, but it came in and we just.
We didn't want to set the record today.
I have none.
Yeah, we did want to have none, so. A resolution setting time and date, place to receive sealed bids for the County Road 16-3.63 and Seneca County, I think that's an I, Township Road, 169-0.71, superstructure replacement pre-stressed box beams. That's kind of a tongue twister. We will be opening those on Tuesday, April 17th at 10:15 here at the Commissioner's office.
Okay.
I I have a resolution authorizing Mike Kirschner, President of the Board, to sign the 2019 Workers' Compensation Group Retroactive Rating Plan Agreement between Seneca County and the County Commissioners Association of Ohio. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to sign a satisfaction of mortgage for Larry and Peggy Barker for the satisfaction of their loan. Seneca County Commissioners for work done through the Community Housing Improvement Program 2009. And I have another satisfaction of mortgage for Dorothy Robertus for the satisfaction in the 2001 Community Housing Improvement Program. And Charlene's here if you have any questions on those. That's all I have.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the supplemental appropriations.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes. Okay, the time has arrived for public comment. Anyone have anything they'd like to bring before the commission? Ron, no questions?
Just one question.
Uh-huh.
The two properties, where, I believe the Libertus property's in Fostoria, but where's the other one?
Not sure.
The address on the satisfaction.
Seneca County.
mortgage. Yeah. There we go.
Well, that's good news.
Good answer.
They're in Seneca County. They were done through the CHIP programs, so I don't know the exact address off the top of my
I
head.
just, the city is all I'm looking for.
It'd have to be on the legal description, so.
Yeah. You-
Which one were you asking?
This one
DeBurtis?
is in
Second.
Hopewell.
Barker?
Yep, Barker's in Hopewell Township.
And Libertus is in Fostoria, right?
Well, we would have to look at the legal on that one a little
Anything
time.
else we gotta cover?
City of Foster.
Yep.
Thank you.
I saw a notice in the paper today, and I saw it on Facebook last night, that the League of Women Voters having April 12th, right? Right. The, Secretary Daniels. Right. Is going to be, the Director of the Ohio Department of Agriculture in to speak, and it's at the library.
What time?
6 p.m.?
6 p.m. Okay. Yes,
So the governor did sign the capital budget bill.
so all our dreams have come true?
All our dreams have come true. So I'll be working, we had 1.35 million specifically coming to Seneca County, of which 50,000 is going to museums, so I'll be working to help facilitate those funds transferring, as well as the Ohio Partnership for Water, Industrial, and Cybersecurity, so $1 million there, and then for the park in the downtown area as well. So I'm gonna start working on logistics of those funds, but that's obviously very good news. Would like to present to the commission some of the branding things. So we talked about the city council on the 16th, so would like to be here on the 17th to kind of share with you all how everything looks. We're participating with the Seneca Regional Planning Commission, and excited to present to you things that the Commissioner Kirschner and Commissioner Stacy along the way. We had some discussion, and Commissioner Thomas as well. So excited to present that to you, a collaboration between our three entities plus the city of Tiffin and the Seneca Regional Chamber of Visitor Services. So I think it's a great beginning to provide a framework to graphically demonstrate the kind of collaboration that the Seneca Justice Center exhibits in the building, right? And it's that unique competitive advantage of working together as one big family for the betterment of everybody throughout Seneca County. So excited about that. It's taken us a long way, but it's like many things. Sometimes things are good stuff is worth the wait. So.
David, on the museum money, is that 25,000 coming to the county? Do you know how that's earmarked?
What I'm about to do is figure out. So there was a
Okay.
split between both the Seneca County Museum and the American Civil War Museum of
Right.
Ohio, with the majority going to the Seneca County Museum for the carriage house restoration. So I'm going to be working on exactly how that's going to.
How much was that total?
50 total.
50 total.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was 50 and 20. Okay. 50 total. All right. Got it.
So
Designated-
I'll be
Last
I
time.
believe in more communication rather than less, so I'll be
Right,
sharing
yeah.
as the logistics of that happen.
Came
I just
through
wanted to let you
the-
know that we've been waiting
Yeah.
for the signature of the bill
Right.
to pass, and this is the point at which money can begin to flow, so.
Yeah, well, it did flow through the general fund the last time, and then out.
Okay,
yeah, then we
so
got-
again, that's not my field of expertise, I'm gonna make sure though, whatever needs to happen.
Yeah, because there's some restrictions on how we have to go out and get the bids for the specific
Okay.
repairs. In this case, it was over the 50, so we had to.
Okay. So I would assume I would work with Stacy on the details as that progresses, would that be correct? That would be my assumption, okay. But definitely one of the commissioners would want to know. Pipeline is also, last comment, very exciting, full, robust pipeline and project, so we expect announcements this year in the industrial sector and the retail sector, and hopefully in some other sectors as well. Education, residential, maybe energy.
Thank you. Shirley, anything to add?
We had a great week last week in Seneca County, and we spent a day out in the field and on the road in the rain on Thursday, preparing for active transportation. Commissioner Thomas was along with that group with our consultants. We traveled over 300 miles across Seneca County, so if you tell
On
me.
bike?
Yeah.
Mr. Thomas, maybe.
On bike in the train, no.
I would be in the trailer on the bike if we were doing that. But no, we had a great day. The rain was off and on. We have a preliminary plan as of now with a really neat map that actually encompasses the whole county. You could actually do a rectangle if you rode what we put down or wanted to walk it for the rest of your life. But it is pretty neat. The next step is we're going to have some pop-ups, and pop-ups will be where the general public can actually see some maps and give us their concerns, their thoughts. Maybe they could say, oh, this intersection's really bad for traffic, how could that be addressed? They can maybe put on the map what they think would be a good route. But one of the pop-ups we're trying to coordinate is at the Earth Literacy Day, am I correct on saying that, out at St. Francis?
Yeah.
And we'll have maps and things there, so we're gonna get that solidified, but we're trying to coordinate that, and we'll be doing some independent pop-ups. So independent will be, we'll have our own representatives from our steering committee, or maybe from the park district, and maybe one of the Ys with some maps, or maybe I'm gonna have a meeting somewhere and I just want some maps there, so we can facilitate and get that information back to our consultant.
Probably preparing something for the fair would be a good idea as well. I'm not sure where. But
Yes, our final plan will be done in July, so we will have maps to present at the fair that will be up in our tent. And our consultant will be back in town around May just to go over some other things with us.
Probably good to have some of the township tent as well.
Yes, we will.
Is that what you're talking, is that your
That's
tent?
what she's talking about.
That's our
Oh,
tent,
okay,
yep,
okay.
that's our tent.
All right.
So we'll be doing that, and I'm just, it's exciting, because it's new things that are coming, potential new funding for the county, and ways to see things. I actually got to see a couple roads I hadn't been on, so I don't really get lost in the county, but I did get misplaced at once, so that was nice. But the same could be said for my co-pilot, who was Eugene Stacy. He doesn't get lost, but I think I might have misplaced him. But we had a great time, and it was really worthwhile.
If there are any questions about either county or state roads, I would suggest, there's a guy, Kurt Tusing, who ran ODOT for a lot of years, C-U-R-T, Kurt Tusing, that knows the county roads like the back of his hand. So if you need any assistance with where something might be, or where they might have had trouble in the past with intersections, or any resource material, certainly be a good guy. He can tell you wherever, he never gets lost.
Wonderful. We
It was fun to see
actually-
the county through out-of-towners' eyes, because we forget how beautiful a lot of things are and how cool we have some of
Yeah.
our parks. We were at the Iron Triangle and they were just like, oh, this is so great, you know.
And there was a train that came through over
Train
there, so
come
that was
through,
even more
and
exciting.
it was a lot of fun, and we found a bridge that nobody knew existed. And I mean, it was a lot of fun to see it through their eyes, because they were all city folks. And one of the things that they pointed out is, we were on roads that have average daily traffic counts of like 78. They're like, yeah, we have bike lanes in Washington that get that kind of traffic. So it's just a different perspective.
Yeah.
And the consultant was extremely impressed with our committee. They said we had half the work done for them when they showed up. Our committee has been planning for a year and a half on our own independently. So when they came in, it was really nice to be able to show them what we've written, what we think is important, and that really helped them, and they really liked it. They feel that we're ahead of schedule because of that. So congratulations to the subcommittee for doing a great job so far.
And we're 1 of 4 in the state of Ohio that got this grant.
Yes.
Well, David, maybe you could lobby to have a deep ditch next to each of the trails so you could swim the route.
I would be, I'd be all about it. I don't think I'll get a lot of traction, but I would be happy to put my voice to it.
David and I had our elected official meeting last year on bike, so.
We did. We did. Hard to keep up with Commissioner Thomas on a bike.
On the downhill.
See if you can keep up with you swimming.
Okay, any further business? Hearing
Next
none.
reminder, we have work session next
Work session next 9:30,
9:30.
next Tuesday. Okay, we are adjourned. 10:40.